Welcome to Unsolved USA, a channel dedicated to real American cases that remain unanswered. Each story is based on verified information and presented respectfully, without speculation, because some mysteries deserve to be remembered. This video is based on publicly available information and is presented for educational and documentary purposes only. The following case remains officially unsolved. In August of 2013, a 19-year-old college student vanished under circumstances so strange that even experienced investigators were left confused. His name was Bryce Laspisa. And in the days before he disappeared, Bryce made a series of decisions that still raise unsettling questions. Bryce Laspisa was a freshman at Sierra College in Rocklin, California. He was described by friends and family as intelligent, polite, and generally responsible. He had no known history of violent behavior, criminal activity, or serious mental illness. Bryce was close to his parents, Karen and Michael Laspisa, who lived several hours south in Orange County. He spoke with them frequently and had no known plans to run away or disappear. But in late August 2013, something about Bryce began to change. Friends noticed he was acting withdrawn. He seemed emotionally distant. He had recently broken up with his girlfriend, which appeared to affect him deeply. Despite this, Bryce did not express thoughts of harming himself or anyone else. On August 28th, Bryce told his parents he was heading home for the weekend. He packed his car and left his college apartment in his white Toyota Highlander. But Bryce never made it home. Instead of driving south, Bryce stopped in a small town called Buttonwillow, California, more than 3 hours north of where his parents lived. For reasons that remain unclear, Bryce stayed in the Buttonwillow area for nearly 13 hours. During this time, Bryce sent confusing messages to his parents. He told them he was tired. He said he needed to rest before continuing his drive. His parents found this unusual but not alarming at first. As hours passed, their concern grew. They spoke with Bryce on the phone multiple times. His parents urged him to continue driving home. Bryce repeatedly said he would leave soon. But he didn't. At one point, Bryce admitted to his parents that he had taken prescription medication that did not belong to him. This immediately alarmed them. His parents contacted roadside assistance and later local law enforcement, asking them to check on their son. A police officer located Bryce sitting in his parked vehicle. The officer spoke with him at length. Bryce appeared calm. He was cooperative. He did not seem impaired or distressed. He told the officer he planned to continue his drive shortly. The officer allowed Bryce to leave. And yet Bryce stayed. Hours later, Bryce finally resumed driving. But instead of heading home, he drove south toward Southern California and then suddenly changed direction. The next morning, Bryce's car was spotted near Castaic Lake, a rugged area north of Los Angeles known for steep terrain and deep ravines. Not long after, Bryce's vehicle was found abandoned at the bottom of a ravine. The car had gone over an embankment and crashed. Inside the vehicle, investigators found Bryce's belongings, his wallet, his phone, his laptop. But Bryce was nowhere to be found. Authorities initially believed Bryce may have intentionally driven off the cliff in an attempt to end his life. But several details did not align with that conclusion. The car did not show signs of high-speed impact. The damage suggested the vehicle may have rode slowly rather than crash violently. Even more puzzling blood found inside the car did not indicate a fatal injury. Search teams were deployed immediately. Helicopters scanned the area. Dogs tracked scents. Volunteers searched the rugged terrain surrounding the crash site. Despite the extensive effort, no trace of Bryce was found. No clothing. No remains. No confirmed sightings. In the days that followed, Bryce's parents were left with more questions than answers. Why had Bryce waited so long in Buttonwillow? Why had he told police he was fine, yet never continued home? Why was his car found miles away in a completely different direction? Investigators considered multiple possibilities. One theory suggested Bryce survived the crash and walked away, possibly disoriented or injured. But the terrain surrounding the crash site is harsh and difficult to navigate. Another theory proposed Bryce intentionally disappeared to start a new life. However, he left behind his money, identification, and phone, making this unlikely. Some believe Bryce may have suffered a mental health crisis. Others believe there may have been an encounter that has never been discovered. Yet no evidence has ever confirmed any of these possibilities. Years passed. Sightings were reported, but none were verified. Search efforts continued intermittently. But Bryce Laspisa was never found. Today, the case remains open. Bryce's parents continue to search for answers. They continue to believe their son may still be alive. And investigators continue to face the same troubling questions. Why did Bryce behave so strangely in the days before his disappearance? Why did he refuse to go home, even when encouraged by police and his parents? And how does a young man vanish, leaving behind his entire life without a single confirmed trace? The disappearance of Bryce Laspisa remains one of the most unsettling unsolved cases in modern American history. A case defined not only by mystery, but by moments that still don't make sense. And until the truth is uncovered, Bryce Laspisa remains missing. Some mysteries refuse to be forgotten, and this one remains unsolved.